Hello and welcome. In this lecture, you will learn to install Ubuntu on cloud server. In order to create email server, our very first requirement is to install Ubuntu on cloud server having at least 768 MB of RAM. For demonstration purpose, I have chosen three major cloud hosting service providers. They are DigitalOcean, Linode, and Amazon Web Services. However, you are free to select any cloud hosting provider. Procedure to install Ubuntu on any of cloud service provider are quite similar. I hope you will also find documentation as well to get started. One thing you got to ensure with other cloud hosting provider is whether they are allowing port 25 or not for new customers. If they are not allowing, then it's better to stay away from them. So let's get started with DigitalOcean. Right now, as you could see, digitalocean.com is already opened. If you go to the pricing tab, you will find the droplets starts with 1 GB of RAM, which is more than our list requirement of 768 MB of RAM. If you are new to email marketing, then I suggest you to get started with a small droplet and later scale it up as per your need. So let's log into DigitalOcean. If you don't have account, just create one, and after that go here this create button and click on droplets. Now by default you will find Ubuntu has been selected. However, we need to select 14.04x64. So select it and 1 GB of RAM obviously. And next, data center region. So select data center region which is close to your customers. Let's say my customers are in New York or in America. So I may want to select any of the American data center region. Next, you might want to select IP version 6. And next is to add SSH keys. SSH keys are recommended security measure and it is much better than your password, which may or may not be hacked, but it's quite difficult to hack SSH keys because SSH keys has two parts. It's just like lock and key. So your private key will be with you and your public key will be on your server. You will be able to log in only if your private and public key matches. If you lost your private key, you may not be able to log into your server. So let's generate SSH key. In order to generate SSH key on Windows machine, go to google.com and look for PuTTY. Now here click on the very first link, download PuTTY, and you need to download two programs. One is PuTTY and another one is PuTTyGen. So let's download PuTTY and download PuTTyGen. So once you have PuTTyGen and PuTTY on your machine, open the PuTTyGen to generate the SSH key. Now click on generate button and hover your mouse here. Now copy this public key and click on new SSH key and paste it. Give it some beautiful name like my first email server. Click add SSH key. Now next thing you got to do is to save your private key. Click on save private key. If you want to protect this private key with some password, you can do it by entering passphrase here. However, for the time being, I am not interested in protecting this private key. So I am going to save it without passphrase. So say yes and my first SSH key. Sorry, my first. Yeah, my first SSH key will work, right? Save it on desktop. Alright, close it then. Now next, you have to choose host name. In host name, you have to put box dot and your domain name. Box dot your domain name. Then click create. In couple of seconds, your digital ocean droplet will get ready. So in order to log in, we have to open PuTTY. Just open it. Now copy the IP address from here. Paste it in the IP address bar. Next, click on plus icon in front of SSH. Click on AUTH authentication. Browse your private SSH key, which is this one. And now go to session. I want to save this session, so I am going to name it my first session or whatever you want. And after that, click save and hit open. So you will get this fingerprint warning. Click yes. Username root. Press enter. And that's it. You have successfully installed Ubuntu on your cloud hosting. See you in the next lecture where I will be talking about Linode.